This is Wells Southerner. The title of my little verbal essay today is Wels and Young Men. The Wisconsin Synod should, for once, start thinking in a more innovative way on the evangelism front. Not so much on the theological side, our theology is correct, but perhaps the demographic. Reverend Schrader and the guys in Waukesha are decent sorts, but they are badly mired, perhaps not hopelessly so, in the 40-year-old David Lukey evangelical-style Lutheran substance mind virus. That concept is so old and hoary that it's becoming a little embarrassing. Christianity in its history has sometimes attracted the rich, powerful, and influential. Nothing wrong with that per se. However, to borrow a phrase from Dostoevsky, we have had greater success, by the grace of God, with the insulted and the injured. The folks that end up being looked down upon, the people whom society hates, the marginalized and oppressed. I contend there is no group more despised in American society than men, particularly young men. Just turn on your television set. Men are insulted at every turn, while women are lionized. You go, girl, smash the patriarchy. What we are finding in the polling data of Generation Z adults is that for the first time in recorded history, young men are more interested in Christianity than young women. It was even trumpeted in a New York Times headline. They are writing about it at Harvard Divinity School. According to the Survey Center on American Life, 40% of Generation Z women are non-religious compared to 31% of Gen Z men. The Public Religion Research Institute also had a similar study with almost identical results. I try to keep a close eye on what other Christian communions are up to. There is a pleasant young fellow that runs a YouTube channel called Young Anglican, and he recently had a kind of Q&A video on his channel. A large percentage of young men asking questions were theologically astute from American evangelical backgrounds, and they were torn between either joining the Missouri Synod or the slightly conservative Anglican Church in North America, or one of the other conservative breakoffs from Episcopalianism. They were asking very intelligent and pertinent questions of a theological nature to help them decide. Another conservative Anglican Church of North America channel is run by a young priest who goes by the handle of Barely Protestant. He is somewhat in the moderately Anglo-Catholic tendency of the Anglican Episcopal world. He gets a lot of questions from frustrated young Episcopalians who can't find an Anglican Church of North America parish anywhere near their homes. He tells them if they can't find a nearby Acna parish, to go to a Missouri Synod church as the next best but imperfect choice. These content creators respect confessional Lutheranism, even if they have criticisms like our position on the apostolic succession of bishops. Since the first Lutherans came to the shores of the east coast of the U.S., we Lutherans have been pretty much seen as a foreign ethnic church, for very sound historical reasons, mostly having to do with the disastrous and misguided experiment of unions with the Reformed in the 19th century. We keep to ourselves. I know it's a very odd thing, but for the first time in American history, people are interested in us. There's another YouTube creator, a man named Javier Perdomo, a Methodist pastor, I believe. He has a channel dedicated to people leaving Rome and Eastern Orthodoxy and embracing some form of Protestantism. Recently, he decided to do a personal deep dive into the Lutheran confessions and has found them strangely compelling. So we have this fascinating a phenomenon of intelligent young men interested in theology carefully examining Lutheran claims. Like I said, many of these guys are ex-American evangelicals. They've been put off by the Charles Finney snake-handling clown circus and open to traditional liturgy and real sacraments. They are also looking at Rome, Constantinople, and Canterbury, and some are going in those directions. Some have interest in Missouri. I say, why not us? Wels needs to do more to reach out to young men. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that we ignore other demographics. We must aim to bring law and gospel to all people. But we can't forget young men. I'm convinced that a special program of outreach to young men would be a fruitful endeavor. This is Wels Southerner signing off.